A few days ago, a guy by the name of AfricanRedhead uploaded this video explaining how he thinks the decreasing price of refined metal is killing the TF2 economy. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you do. The intent of this video is to explain how faulty his reasoning is and his enforcement of an idea with no factual basis. Furthermore, I will also be covering how this idea has spread and become this behemoth of misinformation we know today. To start off, let's have a look at the thumbnail. 1 key equals 62 ref. Wow, that's a lot of refined metal. I would have never thought keys would become that expensive. I better go to backpack.tf to have a look at these insane prices. But hey, wait a minute. What's this? Keys are only about 40 ref. What's that? I don't understand. Thankfully, he provides an explanation in the comments. Current key price, $250. $250 divided by 0.04 is $62.50. It's not clickbait, it's simple math. The math can't possibly be that simple, because he still managed to mess up the most basic part. He's getting the $250 from the prices of the Manco store, which isn't exactly known to be very consistent with community prices. If we do the calculation backwards, we get that 0.04 times 40 is measly 160, which is obviously far from the Manco store's key price and much closer to that of other markets. I don't know how he didn't know that backpack.tf price is ref of the dollar value of keys divided by the ref price, but it's amazing to see how far he got as a trader without basic knowledge like this. Now, throughout the video, his main point is that the decreasing value of refined is killing the economy. Why, may you ask? Well, he never really explains it, but apparently it's because low-tier trading is becoming harder to do efficiently when keys are so expensive. This is a point I could agree with to some extent. Making your first key as a TF2 trader has gotten harder due to both bots and the rising key prices. But the AfricanRedhead completely overestimates the impact this has had on low-tier trading, claiming that it's completely gonna die off because of this factor. However, this is not the case. I know a lot of low-tier traders myself, and they all seem to be doing fine. It seems that while the general state of low tier has worsened, it's still nowhere near dying, and even if it somehow were to die, it would still not be able to bring down the entire economy. Unusual trading, for example, is pretty much a separate entity from low tier trading, and would probably persist for ages after the theoretical death of low tier. As long as some aspect of the economy remains untouched, it should be fine. Adding on to this, low tier trading is really the only scene affected by the increase of key prices. If you're an unusual trader or anything that isn't low tier, chances are you won't even see a ref on a daily basis, other than the Swedes. It's such a small currency, it's really only worth much to those who trade on small scales. And since we've already concluded that low tier trading is fine, this should mean that the economy as a whole is fine as well, although not as much as it has been in the past. But if this idea of the economy dying has so many arguments against it, why is it so popular? I have a theory. From what I can see, most of the people who talk about the economy dying and that kind of stuff are fairly new to trading. They are dealing with a low tier and are trying to make profit, but when they don't, they can't see why. Rising key prices in a dying economy is the perfect scapegoat for this, something they learn from hearing other inexperienced traders saying so, and thus more people subscribe to the idea without having much of a basis. It makes them seem like they can't think for themselves. They parrot what is said by people who appear to them to be knowledgeable on the topic, but are usually just as clueless as themselves looking for a scapegoat. These are the kind of people I think agrees with what was said in the video. They see the AfricanRedhead as some kind of trading god because he's on YouTube and has expensive hats. But even those who seem to be smart and knowledgeable can often be wrong. This is the case with the video in question. The newer traders saw it and thought, hey, this guy has nice hats and a YouTube channel. He must be right? But it's not as simple as that. One of the best bits of advice I like to give to traders is to be very careful with who you take advice from. Compare it with what others are saying. Ask yourself if it sounds logical. Actively look for holes in what is said. Think critically, but be open to learning from others. If you do that, you're pretty much ensured not to fall for any misinformation spread by people like the AfricanRedhead. Due to all this stuff, I am proud to announce the creation of the Steam group Traders Against People Who Spread Misinformation in the Community, or TAPWSMITC for short. If you want to join the fight against the trading equivalent of fake news, I recommend you join it to send your thoughts and prayers directly to everyone who's trying to scrap bank after watching trading videos that are several years old. I leave you with this quote from Abraham Lincoln. Don't believe everything you see on the internet.
haters don't think shit, stink pink gators. My Detroit players, Tim's for my hooligans in Brooklyn. Dead right, if the head right, Biggie there, and night. Papa been smooth since days of under rules. Never lose, never choose to. Bruise, cruise, who? Do something to us. Talk, go through us. Girls want to us, wanna do us, screw us. Who us? Yeah, Papa and Pump. Close like Starsky and Hutch, stick to clutch. Yeah, I squeeze 3 at your cherry M3. Bang every MC easily. Take that. Easily.